Do you know what? On Friday, I'm going to be debuting a few interviews that I recorded out at Podcast Movement this year with some amazing people. But before I do that, I want to teach you how I run short, snappy, in-person guest interviews, the equipment that I use, the equipment that you can use, and how to get some great content in less than 10 minutes. But before I do that, I'm going to just tell you a little bit about this show. I am your host, Mark Asquith. This is the Podcast Accelerator, and guess what? Out at Podcast Movement, we got some great feedback to our absolutely game-changing podcast hosting, analytics and marketing platform, Captivate.fm. So if you're starting to get a little frustrated with your podcast host, if you're getting a little frustrated by the pricing, getting a little bit frustrated about the antiquated technology or some of the limitations of being with your podcast host, I want you to go and check out Captivate.fm, where you're going to, number one, sign up to the pre-launch notification list. We are live with Captivate. We've got people using it. We have paying members that are loving it, but we are doing a very special event that is going to give you a discount for life on Captivate. It's called Ready, Set, Grow. It's taking place this week. Go and check it out at Captivate.fm. The only way to get an invitation to that growth event, where I'm going to teach you how to get to your first 100 downloads per episode, how to get to 500 downloads per episode. I'm going to give you all of that during the Ready, Set, Grow event. And one chance to try Captivate at a very, very special early bird adopter discount. All right, go and check that out at Captivate.fm. So, summer is often the time that people head out to conferences, and any good podcaster will tell you being equipped with a mic that is vital, but I want to dig into how you garner quality content quickly when you might only have a moment with your guest. Before I do that, 5 seconds, AWeber.com. Go and check them out. They're my email marketing provider of choice. I spent some time with them out at Podcast Movement last week. They're amazing. They helped me to grow the Ready, Set, Grow event, helped me to interact and engage with you. And if you're not doing that as a podcaster, believe me, you're leaving relationships and money on the table. Go and check it out, markasquith.com/AWeber, or do a Google search for AWeber. They're going to build your email marketing with you, all right? So, like I said, summer. We're all out at podcast conferences. We often start the year with like a Podfest, then we shoot out to Podcast Movement, DC Podfest, MapCon, Shoot Podcast Live, all these podcast conferences, all right? And every single podcaster worth their salt has usually got a camera or a microphone with them. Of course, we know that is vital, but as a podcaster, I've got no need to tell you that content is vital. How do you actually generate decent quality content quickly when you've only got a few minutes with your guests? Well, that is actually one of the most vital pieces of this puzzle. Understanding that you've only got a few minutes with your guest. You can shoot the crap. You can kind of shoot the breeze after you've after you've recorded, before you start recording. You can have a catch-up. You know, if you want to grab someone like John Oakes or Aaron Mankey or, you know, any one of the people that you want to grab an interview with for 5-10 minutes, get their sound bite on record. You can ask how their conference has been before you hit record. Ask how it's been after you've finished recording. But what you can't do is hit record and go, right, Aaron, you know, tell me a little bit how you're enjoying Podcast Movement. Boom, it's time wasted. Your audience doesn't care about that, because guess what? If you ask every person that you interview that same question after you've hit record, the audience is just going to hear the answer 10 times. It's pointless content, all right? So do your niceties before or after. Do your niceties before or after. The second thing that I want to tell you is that you need to be crystal clear on the quality of content that you're going to get. And I'm talking about production quality here. Now, at a conference, you are going to have background noise. Nothing wrong with that. You're going to have background noise. Honestly, it's fine. It is fine, okay? But choose some kit that eliminates that as much as possible. So if you've got an ATR 2100, and if you're recording into something like Ali 2 on your phone, ATR 2100, you get an iPhone USB camera kit. It's like $20. Plug it into the bottom of your phone, and you can record from an ATR 2100 in to your voice memos. That's all you need. It will be great content. Personally, I use two EV-ND767A microphones, and I run them into a Zoom H6. Now, the great thing is that you get that ambience, you get that sound, that patter, you get that kind of vibrancy of a conference running in the background, but the content that you record is absolutely outstanding, okay? So you've got to be really clear that you're never quite going to get rid of that conference background, all right? And that is quite all right. Just accept that, live with that, understand it, you'll be fine. Okay, that's the second thing. The third thing is you need one good question that you ask. Now, what I'm talking about here is that you might not want to repeat the same question time and time again. So if you have 5 interviewees, you might not want to ask the same question. You might do. That might be the thing that you market. Okay, I asked 5 experts, X, Y, Z. That's fine if you do want to do that. But what you can't be doing is pressing record and wondering what the hell to ask. Okay? In my opinion, you go one of 2 ways. You either do take that one question approach. I asked X amount of experts what they thought of Y. Or you have 4 or 5 pre-written questions that you pick out of the bag depending on the expert. You know, it might be something specific about growth, something specific about your industry, something specific about the future of the industry, the past of the industry, a recent development in the industry. But be specific and only ask that person, if you want 5 minutes of content, only ask that person once. Next, you've got to understand that if you've got this person, you can't, and you've got 5 minutes with them, you can't run through your pre-roll and your preamble. Even I couldn't do that on this short form show. I couldn't say, hey guys, welcome to the Podcast Accelerator, the thrice-weekly show, blah, blah, blah. Not while someone stood there waiting for me to ask them. You've got to understand that you've probably got a little bit more editing to do afterwards, which again is totally fine, okay? That is completely fine. Now, I'm going to be running a few of these interviews that I conducted out at Podcast Movement, starting on Friday and running until I've exhausted them. They are just great tips from some of the world's biggest podcast and just great guys, biggest podcast influencers, but just great guys, great people. We've got everyone from every walk of podcasting life, okay? We've got men, women, we've got kids, we've got veterans, we've got newbies, we've got absolute superstars, we've got people who are just getting started, all right? So that's coming on Friday. But if you want to conduct your own short, snappy, in-person podcast interviews, understand that these tips are intended to help you. And this is the style and the flow that I follow when I'm trying to capture that amazing content on the floor of a conference. Now, thank you so much for joining me on the Podcast Accelerator. Remember to tell your podcasting friends that this show is free. And remember, you can get your free ticket to our inaugural and annual Ready, Set, Grow Podcasting Summit. It's an online summit. It is only available to the Captivate.fm pre-launch notification list. This is not to say you have to buy Captivate. It's just to say that we'll let you know when it's live, but we'll also give you a free invitation to this immense growth-oriented podcasting online summit, which is coming this following week. Please go and check it out, Captivate.fm. It's totally free. There's no obligation to buy Captivate. I'll give you a few demos of Captivate, but ultimately, I'm going to give you absolute quality value and education that you can go and implement straight away to get you to 100 downloads per episode, 500 downloads per episode, to get you that first $100 in revenue recurring every single month. All right, please get your free ticket to Ready, Set, Grow at Captivate.fm. And until the next time, thanks for joining me. Have a great day, and never forget, the more you expect from yourself, the more you will excel.